Hello everyone, it's Yogi here. Hope you're well. So wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from London. So it's about 7:40 p.m. here in London, and quite fancy a spot of stitching. So tomorrow I've got 3 classes in the morning back to back. So hopefully I can get some stitches in and still get to bed in the civilized hours. So today I'm stitching the Little Cake Shop, and it's a Max Colors. Let me just bring up the markup here. So I've been working on it for the past few days, on and off, alongside with a few other projects. And let's have a look. It's so beautiful, and it's full of different colors. And I'm starting from the upper left and working downwards, not diagonally. If I can show you quickly where I am on the app. So the direction is a little bit random. I think originally I was going from, just let me set this up here. Oh, sorry about that. I'm going to find my little app here. So here we go. So from here, let me just move it so it sits nicely in the middle of the screen here. And so let me just remove my little box there for a moment there. I want to show you the entirety in terms of my progress. So you can see now it's kind of forming, I don't know, yeah, it's kind of a box shape. It's a square shape, but not by design. Originally, I started kind of moving downwards and to the right diagonally, and you can see how many pages are involved. It's regular size, but it's heaven and earth design regular size, which is still really, really massive. And so the progression right now, let's have a look. With this piece, if you look at the upper left there, it says 13.4, which is pretty good as far as my whips go. Most of them are still single digits, majority of them. And so you can see that it's not bad. It's close to 13.5 here. So today I'm going to set a little sprint there. So this app allows me to create a little timer here. So I'm going to start now and see how many stitches I can kind of squeeze in. I'm not looking for super speed, as you know, says on the tin, but I'm hoping to focus on this section here. Let me just highlight it with my box here. So this is where, in terms of location on the piece there. So I'm skipping the space on top for now. I kind of jump back and forth so I get to enjoy different sort of color palette. There's no need to stitch in a strict order the way I stitch. I'm going to just do a color complete of a defined area. And the app I'm using is called Cross Stitch Saga. I only started using it only about a couple of weeks ago, and I really enjoy it. It gets me, allows me to stitch in a way that I can't really do with other apps, which is a color complete in any size of areas. So with that, Let me jump back to this area here, and let me zoom in for you so you can see where I'm going here. And in case you don't know, it says on my title I'm streaming in 4K. So if you're on desktop browser and it doesn't say 4K, you can manually turn it on. The control should be on the bottom right. And if you're on mobile devices, there should be a tool menu that you can open on the upper right. As long as you have the Wi-Fi speed and bandwidth to view 4K, then all is good. So this area is packed with details, so I'm really excited. I started working on it from the previous stream. I can't remember, maybe 3 streams ago, and I added a few more stitches in, and also completed, let me show you, sort of this area, sort of fill that in. And so I'm not doing it in any strict order here. And I'm going to leave the app view on the upper left there for your reference. It's quite interesting to see how things progress. So let's go. This piece is so pretty. So I'm stitching 1/1, 25 counts, and I'm using DMC floss. So I'm going from the colors got least stitches within this area, and slowly moving up to more stitches as I go. So let me just double check, make sure that I'm the right color here. So the first color I'll be tackling is 3607. 3607. So I'm looking at my thread docking ironing board here. I just released a clip on my video section, just showing how I dock my DMC floss with 25 count projects 1/1. So I don't dock the needles on my organizers. I leave them free, but I use a needle docking board. So if you're interested, you can have a look. Let me see, 3607. I don't have one threaded. 3607. Got it. I've got this pink here. Today for London is another very hot day. I don't think it's as hot as yesterday. Yesterday was scorching, but today is still pretty warm. Pretty warm. So I'm going to move to the right there to complete, to add in these stitches. So since starting using this app, I've been experimenting with the kind of the size of the area to work on at a time. And I started maybe about 6 blocks at a time, and it worked well. So I got ambitious and gradually increasing the area. But then I realized I kind of maybe went a little bit overboard. And a couple of sessions ago, I tried to work on an area. I think there was nearly 20 blocks or something like that. I didn't count, maybe 25 even. And I was so lost because with this way of working, you really relying on kind of pattern recognizing, spotting where the stitches are in order to find the right location. And that area was just too big, too big. So I learned my lesson because in that session, I made so many mistakes. Wrong colors, wrong locations, wrong number of stitches. So now I'm trying to rein it back a little bit. So not super tiny. I still got, 3 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 by 5. Still fair number of blocks, probably 15 blocks, but it feels about right. It feels like it's within my sort of line of vision. I don't have to look around to find the right location. So this may be the sweet spot there. One, two here, one on the left. In the last couple of days, I've been thinking maybe it's time for a haircut because I've got short hair. So, because it's easiest for me, particularly teaching classes, I used to have still brush it back into a bun when I had longer hair. And then I realized this kind of gets in the way when you lie down. And then you can have the bun a bit higher on top of, the crown of the head. But then if you do something like inversion or, shoulder stand or headstand, it gets in the way as well. So I decided to cut it short and it's been working really well since. But the thing is, with the short hair, you do need to have it cut relatively often compared to longer hair. And so it might be the time again to have it cut. I picked this area because I just couldn't wait to stitch it. It's got a lot of detail being captured. And there's a little block there. I think, like all pieces, all patterns, the more you get to the center area, the more stuff going on, the more interesting it gets. Let me move it over there a little bit more. I'm thinking maybe I can reduce the size of this a little bit smaller so it doesn't get in the way. How's that? Should be quite visible still. And then move it up there. And I'm going to mark my stitches as I go because otherwise I get really lost. My autofocus is going crazy here. So this piece I started maybe over 2 years ago, and then, you know, all my whips just got really crazy. Keep adding new projects. And then kind of parked this one for a little while. So maybe just about a couple of weeks ago that I picked it up for the first time this year. And remember how much I love it. So I'm changing the stitching method with this app, so it kind of gives it a new lease of life for me anyway. It just feels fresh. You know, I can tackle it a different way. Sometimes when you stitch a piece for quite a while, you start to get a little bit fatigued. Let me see. Just make sure that these are the last ones. 1, 2, 3. There's one more in the center there, but I'm going to end this thread. And drink of choice today is black coffee. I know it's a little bit late for caffeine, but couldn't help it. And it smells so good. Freshly brewed. Let me take a sip. And I've got one more in the center here. Just a single stitch. Up here. One. And there. It's always interesting to jump around fabric counts. It's just a nice challenge. Full of eyes, full of mind. So yesterday I worked on 14 counts. Oops. Granny's craft rim, one of my favorite pieces. And jump to 25 counts. This one I'm going to just tuck it down without any particular way of ending it. Should be fine. Beautiful. Next. 3,350. 3,350. Got one threaded here. So just be super mindful here because there are already quite a lot of stitches around this area. It's very easy to make mistakes. A lot of stitches around there, so sometimes the boxed in stitches can be a bit tricky to put a needle through. Two, we just mark these ones first. 3, four, we switch hands, be a bit easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 on the side. So what happened is I run out of 28 size 28 needles, which I normally use for 25 counts. So I mix in some 26 needles here. I think this is probably one of them. So it's a little bit tighter because larger needles to push through. I mean, it still works. It's just it requires a little bit of maneuvering. Here we go. So what I'm going to do is live. I'm going to just move my camera up a little bit because it's activating the auto focus like crazy. So readjust it a little bit to the, oops, I told you this is live. My camera arm just gave up. Hang on. Here we go. Should be fine now. Yes, it's not earthquake. It's just my camera arm protesting. So trying to adjust it. I didn't like it that much. Here we go. Should be better now. I think it's better. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3. I think I missed 1 stitch here. One down here. down here. I think I'm about 50% within this area, something like that. Let me see. One down. Hey, Gayla. Hello, how are you? Hope you're well. I hope where you are is a little bit cooler than London right now. I think it must be humid as well because I can definitely feel it. It feels different from just dry heat. The humidity is probably a little bit higher as well. It feels sweaty. It's a nice change from cold, hard winter, obviously. I think put this through here. So I've done this one stitch up. In the 80s, that's probably Fahrenheit. I don't know what temperature that would be for Celsius. Not great with conversion. But it feels cool and it's lovely. But it's quite unusual for the UK to be hot. And it's been hot for about a week. So, I mean, it's nice if you're going for a picnic or barbecue, dare I say. warmish, nice. And I made a point of giving my local squirrels fresh water as well, just in case they can't find any, because it hasn't rained much at all. I can't remember the last time it rained, probably more than a couple of weeks ago. And just in case they couldn't find any water, which is possible. 1, 2, 3 here, 1 down. So Gayla, I think I remember I saw your comments you put in today regarding the let me think, regarding the thread parking board. I think, let me just make sure I haven't messed it up. And I think you asked about, if I remember correctly, because I quickly had a look before I came online. I think you asked about where to put it when you don't use it, right? So with my needle board, I normally just prop them against, I prop them on top of my shelves and just prop them against kind of the back of the shelf. I keep them standing, and then I'll pop the smaller one in front of it, and it's been fine. They don't get stuck together or anything like that. So anywhere, I think keeping them standing is probably a good idea. And yeah, you can stack them on top of each other vertically, not lying down. Then they seem to be okay. Right. Three over here, and then 1, 2. One, and then 2 down here. I'm sure you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference even if I made a mistake, but I just like to get it as accurate as I can. It's a bit tricky with 26. I'll see if I can swap to 28. There's a good reason why you use 28, but 25 counts. Right. 2 over here. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. One, two, three. Here. And it's getting very short now. Just one more stitch, I'm going to end it. I'll just leave it. And I'm going to see if I can find a 28 in this bunch, because I mixed them in, so now it's a little bit tricky here. I need to get more 28 needles. 3350. 3350 here. So we've got these two. That one. Down here, down here. It is kind of challenging your, oh, I think this is 28, so much easier. It is a challenge of your pattern spotting ability and focus. This way of stitching, because you're not stitching in order. The stitches go kind of a random direction. So I've got 18 more to go. Let me tuck this in. Find the other ones. Let me do these ones over here. Oh, so much easier. So pretty. And there's one more at the bottom there. Hello. It's a little bit of, try to find a corner there. There's one more over here. Beautiful. Look at this little flower pattern there. So 1, 2, 3, 4 here. I've got another 12 to go. I am going to start from the right, so I don't have to end the thread. 1, 2, 2 from above. Hang on. 1, 2. And then I went over here. Two. And I'm going to come down here. Let's just have a look. Another sip of my coffee. Peace and tranquility. Every stitching day feels different. Depends on the seasons, the weather, I think, and the stitching method. It just doesn't feel like I've been stitching every day, sort of, fair amount of time every day. It just doesn't feel like it because I keep switching projects and the way I stitch as well. So it just feels like every session feels really fresh and it's a new challenge, new color palette, new pattern. I can understand why people stitch for years and years, not get bored. Right, this might be the last one for this color. Yes. So I can end the thread here. Three, 3, 5, 0. I'm going to pop it back. 3A03. Go and thread it. I'm starting to filling in the wall here. Right, let me mark these stitches first before I forget. There's one more here. It's quite nice to work on this area where the banner is. It says cupcakes because this is when I stopped the last time. Sometime last year, I think I worked on it a little bit, but kind of just lost, momentum And let me see. I'm trying to stitch the next leg. It's here somewhere. The stitches are so full. I've only stitched one leg and I can't find it anymore. Two over here. Two up. Okay, found it. You probably wouldn't have noticed if I didn't stitch the other leg here. That's how full this area is. So it's quite nice to be able to kind of complete part of the sign and maybe eventually the whole thing, because every time I look at this piece before this time around, I just kept looking at the sign. I was thinking, I was hoping for a different way of working on it, I think. But I was doing mini cross country, and for some reason that just didn't feel that exciting anymore. It's not so much the piece itself, it's just trying to find a new way of tackling it. That one, two. So I'm really grateful, really happy to discover this app. It just makes everything a little bit fresher. Hi, Tani. Hello, first time here. Welcome, welcome, Tani. I hope you enjoy it. I think you will enjoy it, I hope. I'm enjoying it. So, just peacefully stitching here. Are you stitching right now? Tani says, nice chart that you're working on. Yes, it's called Little Cake Shop. It's from Heaven and Earth Design. I fell in love with it the first time I saw it. And it's just everything I dreamed of for a chart. I'm trying to find the next stitch here. I think it's this one. I may have stitched one wrong there, but you will never notice. Yes, and I kind of parked it for a while, but just recently picked it up again and fell in love with it all over again. Oh, great, Tani. You're about to start stitching as well. Join me. And one over there. I think I found my spot now. I think I've warmed up a little bit. The first few stitches is always a little bit, a bit iffy. But then you're warmed up and it starts to flow. So Tanya, tell me, what are you working on? I want to know. Share with me. Beautiful. So, and one over here. One, 2. One's done. Whoops. I was just bragging about being warmed up, and lo and behold, a very dodgy stitch right there. Just cover it. It's a bit like British weather. You know, if you ever say, well, it's a beautiful sunny day, within 5 minutes, it'll start raining. It's just how it works. Tanya says, I just started yesterday the Rocky Point by Dimensions. Oh, you know, I have a lot of kits from them, stitching kits. I'm gonna have to Google to see which piece that is. I've got quite a few Dimension Gold ones because they tend to be a little bit bigger and partial, well, close to full coverage, but very often not fully. It's just their style, I think. There are a couple of pieces involves cats. What a surprise! That I've been working on for years. And what I love about Dimension is they use combination of different stitches. They have half stitches with 1 strand, with 2 strands, you know, to create different textures. And they a lot of pieces have back stitches as well. I do like a bit of a back stitches. Just make everything pop up really nicely, and it's fun to do as well. Let me end this one here. It's getting a bit short. Rocky Point. Let's have a look. It's 3A03. I need another thread. 3803 is beautiful. Pinky burgundy-ish. And one of the pieces from Dimension Gold is called Max. It's a black cat sleeping by a sewing machine. It's really, really whimsical, and I actually bought that kit twice, because the first time I bought it, and I actually went pretty far. I probably went about maybe even 60-70%. I was stitching day and night because I was really into it. And then things got busy, so I stopped stitching it. And when I went back, I don't know whether you feel the same sometimes with certain pieces. Instead of continuing to stitch the piece you kind of haven't touched for a long time, I just wanted to start fresh. And I love that piece. And but I picked up the piece I you know, half finished, and I just didn't want to just continue stitching it. So I bought the same kit again for the second time and started from scratch. and really enjoyed it, but still haven't finished. Because you can see I'm busy doing this. But at some point I like to go back and finish it. So Tanya says, yes, it's actually my first one. I wanted to try something different and play with the threads. Yes, and Dimension is a really good choice because their charts are really well charted, and also there's a lot of the stitch variations as well. You know, they have blended colors, half stitches, all sorts of things. I like Dimension. Just make sure this one is stitched as well. Two here, one here. Good. Then but the thing with Dimension is I think they use DMC threads, but they don't show the actual numbers. I think a lot of chart makers, they use their own numbers. So if you do run out of the threads, the floss for any reason, you just have to do a manual kind of color matching, because you don't really know what number, what threads, what number, what colors they are, which is a little bit tricky. Gecko Rouge, they do the same thing. Beautiful. Dimension is normally 16 counts to 18 counts. Depends on the pieces. One, two. Love this color. 2. One more stitch below here. That one, I think that one's done. And these 3 are done. One, two, 3. One as well. I'm going to end the thread here to move on to the next area rather than taking the thread over. One, two. Up a little bit. There's 2. Three here. So one more. Oops. And these ones. 1, 2. So pretty. Let me mark this ones. 10 more stitches of this color here. And the great thing about this method is it also tells you how many remaining stitches there, and you know these are the only ones left for this area. So there's a sense of completion that's really nice. And it's just amazing that this app can just calculate any size area. You can just treat it as your, working area and just ignore everything else outside the box and just focus on the selected area. Make things a lot more manageable. So every area is a little mini pieces. One, two. Let me see. 3. Oh, there's more down there. I think I got these ones in the wrong place, wrong spot. I'm gonna frog it actually, because it's quite easy to do. If it's in a really packed area, I'll probably just leave them and stitch over them, but they're nice and open in this area. I knew something was a bit weird. 1, 2, here. Two. And 2, 4 more. 4 more underneath here. And it feels really good when you complete the last stitch. of that color. And 2 more. But being a little bit OCD here, instead of taking the thread straight down, which will overlap the stitch area, I'm just doing a pin stitch on the side to take the thread away from the stitch area and then bring it back. It might be not very critical for some stitches, but it's kind of important for me. Lovely. Done with this color. Really, really pretty. 977. 977. Where are they? 1. Oh, only 1 stitch. How strange. Why does it not show? You know what? I moved it. That's why. I moved the square for some reason. I didn't lock it. So it's doing a different calculation. That's why. Let me correct it. Because you need to lock the box, otherwise you could accidentally all right, all is good, all is good. I was wondering why, because the numbers of stitches supposed to go up, and suddenly popped up just 1 stitch on the side there, mysterious single stitch. But I moved the box by accident, so you should see the there's a log symbol there. Otherwise you can move it by accident, and each time you move resize the area or move the box, it does a some recalculation of the stitches. That's why. Okay, 3A36. I've got one here already threaded. I think I'm gonna start with this area here. And I think this piece is really nice to stitch in a summer day, because it's so bright and vibrant. And having said that, I quite enjoy dry flowers. The other piece I'm stitching as well, which is very autumn themed. So whoops, I think over there, let me just tease this down. It doesn't get in the way. So every piece you stitch, you're in that world. You know, that's the attraction. You're entering a different world with each piece. Zoom in a little bit. This color's got over 60 stitches just inside this box. And this method is so fast. Well, fast for me anyway, comparing to other methods, which is quite interesting. Trying to figure out why it's a lot faster. I mean, principle, it's not that different from, say, mini cross country, because you can take the thread to all directions. You're free to do so. But there's something about going from numbers with colors with least number of stitches and going up, and maybe the other way as well. I haven't tried the other way, going from the highest number and down. But I think the problem when you do that, if you go from the highest number and down, the final few colors, you have to jump around the you have to take the thread to probably random directions and over the stitch area, because you know most area will be stitched by the end, and that for me is a problem. I don't like to take my thread over stitched area. I want to make sure everything's nice and tucked down at the back. I can probably manage a couple more stitches. It's getting very short. Maybe make it a last stitch here with this thread and tuck it over here. Let me see, 1, 2, right, 3A, 3, 6. Three A, 3, 6. It's over here. 2. One, 2, 3. Did I mention how pretty this piece is? I have soft spot for pastel colors, pink, sky blue. And this piece captures all the colors I love. Three stitches down here. Three, four here. We've got three underneath. So that's right here. And one more. Three here. And then I'm going to take my thread over here. It's a little bit far, but mostly on stitch area, so I don't mind. It makes it easier to stitch from top to bottom whenever possible. Oh, hello. Is it High C? High C 33. High C 33. I presume is a lady. Okay. I'm gonna address you as. She says, "Hello, everyone. Oh, I'm Japanese in USA and one of Stitchers around. Oh, Shino, nice to see you. Yeah, I saw your name kind of rings a bell. Yes, welcome." Welcome. What time is it? In well, you're in the USA, so you have no problem. I was about to ask you what time it is over there. I think in Japan is probably sleeping time, sleepy time. But you're in the US. Welcome. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by to say hello. So whereabout in the US that you are, if you don't mind sharing? No, I don't want home address, okay? No phone number, no home address, please. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Whoops. It's a little bit weird there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And I'm gonna jump down over here. So Shino is a floss tuber as well from Japan, and she's been very kindly coming to say hello a few times on my stream, and I popped over there to hers as well. And she does live streams as well. I think every few days, and she's working on a beautiful piece from Heaven and Earth as well. So look her up. And on her stream, when I popped over there, she had quite a few floss tubers from Japan that goes to her stream there. So I bumped into a couple of them I've been following already. So that was quite nice. It's a very, very small world, stitching world. 1, 2, 3. I think there's one more. 1, 2, 3. There's one on the left there. High C says here's 3:22 p.m. Florida Central Time. Okay, very civilized. Still daytime. Very nice. So comparing to those guys, I'm complete newbie. I've only been around for like a couple months, but my maid is so welcoming. They pop in to say hello, help me out. There. And one more there. It's starting to flow. You can feel it when you're stitching a piece. Just feel like you don't want it to finish, which is ironic. It's an epic piece. But I think I'll probably feel a little bit sad if I finished it. And and particularly with this piece, because when I first saw this design, it was in the very early stage of my full coverage days. I just discovered this way of stitching, and I saw this pattern, and I thought, well, there's no way I'm gonna stitch the whole thing. So I actually went for a kind of modified version. I can't remember what it's called. It's not mini. Mini's a entire piece, just charted in a smaller size. They've got another one called I can't remember what it's called, but basically you have a small section of a larger piece, and they publish those as a chart. So I bought a version of that for this piece, and I remember stitching it with CXC thread, and I remember thinking, my God, even though that piece is smaller, but really not that much smaller, you know, it kind of focus on the shop front if you look at the mock-up, so it's still, you know, good size. And I remember stitching it. I was regretting it. I was thinking, no, I I need the full version because I was just loving every single stitch, even though I just started probably only a few blocks. I was thinking, no, I need to get the full version because I love it so much. So I did. So in a way, I had to park that version, the cropped version, and then restart it from scratch and work on this version. And yeah, I have no regrets. For some reason, this piece is just so, it melts my heart, basically. I love all the other pieces as well, but this one, I have a special place in my heart, probably because this is one of the first full coverage pieces that I decided to do. And all the colors are so pretty, seriously so pretty. Okay, I think I'm gonna mark these two. I've got a few more stitches over on the other side, so I'm going to end the thread. Let me tease this one out down there. It's probably too long. I'm going to snip it instead. It's like stitching butter, if that makes sense. It just feels like everything is so soft and velvety, and it's beyond the fabrics or the thread. It's just the pattern. Is everything is just so, oh, can't describe it. I just love it so much. You know, day-to-day basis, I would choose to maybe work on other pieces as well, to keep everything fresh. But every time I come back to this piece, I kind of just wonder, why haven't I worked on this piece every single day? Because I just love it so much. Just stitching a little bit tight there. I'm gonna get a new thread. Three 8 3 6. Right, I'm gonna start from the left here and start to fill up the space here. Let me check. Needle, I think that one might be 26. This one is 28. Because I part my needles everywhere. It's just impossible to get enough needles to keep it up. Are much better. 28 is just lovely. Totally different stitching experience. That's why needle size has to work with, has to match the project you're working on. I think if you're using 28 for 14 count, for instance, you probably feel the needles probably felt a little bit flimsy because, you know, you're handling 2 strands. For 28, for 25 counts and upwards, it's just perfect. Right, gonna mark it here. More down here. Five more stitches here. So we've got 3 here and 2 more on top. Just over 50 stitches. It doesn't feel like it. You kind of just, it's like a game you play, trying to spot where the stitches should be. One more here. I can see it coming together. So nice. Oh, hi, C. Of course. Thank you for popping by. Enjoy your day in Florida. Enjoy your sunlight. I bet it's sunny over there. Good to see you. I'll catch you later. And but 2 more just on top. One sec. Yeah. One over here. And then one more over here. It's a little bit further than my liking when it comes to taking thread over the stitch area, but I'm gonna just stitch over it. I know, just can't be bothered to end my thread and then do one stitch. I'll live with this. It's okay. From time to time. Just one stitch here. Last one, beautiful. Last stitch of this color. Enjoy your day, darling. Bye. So it's 3A36. The next one. So let me see if I can find a 28 instead. 718. 718. Got one threaded. So one, two. Let me see. Let me mark as I go so I don't get confused. Um, see. to here. Right. Trying to decide where to take my thread here. Right. 2. Way over here. I'm going to take it up here. You'll probably notice the fabric is actually gridded, and I think it helps, particularly if you tend to count the stitches wrong, which I do all the time. I have many projects that I just use plain even weave, but this one really helped me, particularly in the beginning. When I first started full coverage and 25 count as well. It was just it was quite challenging for my eyes. 1 and 2 over there. So if you count, even if you grid it yourself, if you count one block incorrectly, everything else is incorrect. So but I haven't tried to remove the grid to see whether they come off easily. I've heard people having trouble removing the grid, but to be honest, you can't really see it through the stitches, so it probably doesn't matter. You can even just leave it as it is. I'm sure it probably wouldn't make any difference. And 2. It's getting very short, so I'm going to end it. There's 2. Seven, 1, 8. Only got a tiny bit left. Oh, but with this color for the entire piece, it's got less than 500 stitches of this color. Huh. I mean, if you ever try to kit up a Max Colors project, you really just need a tiny bit of each color. Three here. Go for the 1 each. Okay. Trying to reorient myself from here and here. 3, 1 below. One, 2, 1. Three below. 1, 2, 3. Yep. We go over here. 1 up. Oh, hang on. Okay. Not so fast. And there's 2 more there. Okay. Now I can mark them. here. Oops, 1, 2. Okay, so 1 stitch over here. And 2 down, 1, 2. Areas like this really need concentration. Otherwise, once you kind of miss a couple of stitches, everything starts to go a little bit pear-shaped. Three. Going to jump up there. Let's see, 1 below, 3rd one. Let me see. 1, 2, 3 over here. 2. Okay, miss a stitch up here. Second one. Just one more here. And two underneath. Right, this bit is a little bit, I wouldn't say tricky, but just requires a lot more focus. Otherwise, you could just end up stitching the wrong area, the wrong places everywhere. I think this is a challenge of color completion. I mean, obviously it depends on how large an area that you use this method. I think if you do it block by block, a lot of people do, then maybe it's not too bad. But if you're a little bit ambitious and do a larger area, and the pattern is actually a little bit more details and more complex, and you have stitches kind of just scatter everywhere within the area, then you can get a little bit tricky. Oh, my phone is trying to tell me something. I just find iPhone so random because I've got stuff set up for my calendar which is reoccurring, and there will be days that I get notification everywhere, like 24 hours before, 2 hours before for traffic reports. And I've also got calendar items that I don't get any of these notifications, and they are the same events that's reoccurring every week, and it's so weird and random. I think Apple phones just have lives of their own. They do what they want. And occasionally Siri just suddenly pop up and go, well, how can I help you? Or try to show me some wiki pages that I didn't ask for. Two. One, two, three. Um, Going to see. 2 more stitches. Hopefully I've got enough of thread here. Last one around here. Oops. So I've got 4 more. 1, 2, 3. Where's the last one? It's a hide and seek. I think this one I've done. Let's have a look. That one. No, I haven't. 7, 1, 8. You can see it taking shape here. Ooh. 7, 1, 8. Once you get past the ceiling and the wall here, which is slightly tricky if you start from upper left and diagonal down, or even top down, you have to get through the blue ceiling and the walls, which is quite fun, but it might not look, you know, the ceiling doesn't look like a lot, but proportionally it's a pretty large area. So if you stitch in order, you could spend, I don't know, at least a year just stitching ceilings. So it's not impossible. But the fun part is really the shop, you know, all the cupcakes, biscuits. There's one more stitch down here. Just one more over here. The last stitch of this color. right there. And from time to time, you do have to, you know, go fill in loose stitches, kind of just one single stitch here and there. But by going from least to the max, minimum to max, based on stitching colors, that means you probably do a little bit less of that. Because you tend to do single stitches first. And once that's done, you just matter, it's just a matter of filling up the rest. Maybe a bit less boxed in stitches you have to do. I think this color is all done. Remarkable. 718. I'm gonna pop it back. 718. Oh, beautiful. So this one, once it's done, this little plate will be completely filled up. It's the last color within this area. And the great thing about that is I almost can just stitch without worrying about the pattern too much, because it's all within the little circle there. So I just go and fill in all the unstitched area. Easy peasy, I think. I think the challenge would be trying not to miss anything, because it's quite a pale color. 3752. 3752. Yes, it's really pale blue, so you could miss stitches because it's very similar to the color of the fabric. So I'm going to be mindful here. I think that one's filled in for some reason. Let's start here. And sometimes I mistaken the gray color of the grid as stitched area. Sometimes when you have tons of stitches on the fabric, you can easily mistaken this gray background as being stitched. For my eyes anyway. Check here. Haven't missed anything. Trying to see. There's a purpley color there. Let's stitch this one. Okay. Two over here. It's a good idea to refer to the chart, because you can easily miss a few stitches. So yeah, very similar in color. There's one below there. So let's see, below there's two here. That one is on stitches. Oh. Over here. There's one stitch here as well. So all the colors kind of blended together. Okay, I'm going to end my thread here. It's getting quite short now. There you go. So it's 3752. 3752. Right, to fill up this little plate. Tonight's session. I think some stitchers prefer using pointy needles. I can understand why sometimes. There's a little knot there. Ah, at the end. Jacqueline, hello. Today I'm finishing up mushrooms and toadstools by L.O. embroidery. Wow, that sounds very very whimsical. It's really good to see you here. Are you like me, stitching a different piece every day? I love being fickle. And just switch around. But the thing is, every single piece I stitch at that moment in time is always my favorite. It's just the way it is. And I said this before, because before each session, each stream, the streaming or not, it doesn't matter. It's like before I decide to kind of do a session, a lot of times I have no idea which one I'm going to be stitching. And I kind of just leave it to the last moment. Very often there will be one piece kind of, going stitch me, me. It's fascinating. And if I follow that, if I follow the message from my whips, most of the times, it's most enjoyable. If I have some sort of plan to say, well, I really need to work on this piece a little bit more, maybe for this week, then I just ended up kind of get a little bit fed up sometimes because I feel like I'm just following a plan. I like to have no plan whatsoever. And just stitch whichever piece that's kind of talking to me. Jacqueline says every day or two, whenever you're bored, I have 10 projects in rotation. You're a bit like me, actually. I'm glad to hear that. Because every time I look at, stitches, they just work on a single piece for years sometimes. I just feel a little bit inadequate. I said, whoa, what is wrong with me? I just can't just focus on one piece. I'm glad there are people like me out there. I don't feel so weird. And it's not unusual for me to work on multiple pieces a day. If I happen to have, a slightly longer session, I might work on something and go, oh, nah, not feeling it. And I just switch to a different one. Lovely. I'm going to fill in these final stitches on the left here. So I've got quite a few classes tomorrow, so try to be sensible and maybe go to bed a little bit earlier. Not super early still, but earlier for me. Before midnight would be good. It's a good job I'm not doing a 9 to 5. thing with British summers. It's lovely. You know, it's nice to have some sunny days, but in the summer we have like tiny little bugs. They just come out of nowhere. Particularly if you have bright light. I would just kind of just try to hang out here. And I don't know what they are. We don't have mosquitoes here. We have flies in the summer, but we don't have mosquitoes. And so I have no idea what these little bugs are. They're just really tiny, some bigger than others, and they're different types. But I have no names for them. I don't know what they are. Let me mark these stitches. It feels good to mark them. Done, done, done. I probably got a little bit ahead of myself, the marking there. A few more stitches left. Really exciting. I mean, there is still a bottom part of this little plate that's on the wall. But just nice to see that it's being filled up. Stitches. These lovely colors. There's so much details as well. It's just a decoration on the wall, and it's got this little flower right in the center there. That's how detailed this piece is. Hopefully I have enough thread to do these ones. These final stitches here. It's really short now. I might need a new thread for the final couple of stitches. I don't know. Let's see how it goes. I think I need it. I need a new thread. I'm pushing it. I'm really pushing it. Right, let's do the right thing. Let's end the thread here. For the final 2 stitches, I'm going to start a new thread. 3752. Hello, Dolly. Hey, it's Dolly time. My kitty. 3752. Where have you been, darling? You had supper. Right, 2 more stitches to go for today's session. Amazing. And I'll show you how many stitches I manage today. I've got a counter on. Not that I'm competing with anything or anyone, but it's nice to know. And one more. Tease this bit out. And I'm gonna finish the thread here. Oh, our forest in Poland. Oh, it's a Polish pattern. How lovely. I know there are quite a few Russian pattern designers. Well, not designers as in person, but sort of companies. They do really interesting projects. And look at this, it's so pretty. There's still a little bit here to be filled in. You can see where this is going. This is the wall, the stripy pink wall at the back. Let me just pop this one back. 3752, and I'll show you my progress today. Lovely. Let me just look at the percentage. Okay, so in this block, I've got about 339 stitches left. Let me just show you my app here. If you look at the panel on the left, it says within the area. That is the user-defined area. You can define it to any number of stitches there. So I've got 339 stitches left. And for the sprint today, if you look on the right side, the gray area, 324 stitches. Not too shabby at all. Not too shabby. I'm very, very happy. And it feels pretty quick. I've been stitching for, okay, yeah, close to 3 hours, but over 300 stitches is not too bad for me at all. Let me just stop the clock. Whoops. Trying to click on the screen, silly me. It's on my iPad. Very, very happy. Let me just have a look at this and zoom out a little bit to show you where I am. So this is the top of the project, and that's the ceiling part of it. As you can see, I've been working on this piece for over 2 years. I'm really only covering quite small part of the design here. If you look at the design, the markup in its entirety, there's quite a lot of ceiling left. So so a little bit to go. I'm totally happy, and I'm getting to the really exciting area with all the decorations on the wall and to the shop front where all the cakes and biscuits are. I'm so excited. So I keep working on this one, and I'm really happy to be able to work on sort of a small area at a time, because normally I do sort of loose stitches, mini cross countries, and it feels like there's no end. There's no sort of milestones for you to celebrate. And I will be celebrating when I finish this area. So So this is my session today on this piece, and tomorrow I have no idea what I'm going to be working on, so it's a surprise for you and for me as well. So I'm looking forward to it. So I'm going to be sensible and go to bed a little bit early today, hopefully. Probably about 11:30 if I can manage. And so thank you so much for joining me today. And if you have come to say hello, really grateful. And if you've been watching in peace, and I appreciate you the same. So from here, it's close. Well, it's 10:41 p.m. in London, and I bid good night, good evening, and wherever you are, have a peaceful day ahead, and catch you next time. Bye. Nighty night.